Hello, fellow warriors against consensus reality, lovers of truth, wisdom, the pursuit of the esoteric path, irreverence, sarcasm. I should say, wielders of the Warhammer sarcasm, which was forged by dwarves with the bolts of lightning irreverence. It's a nice quiet morning. It's heading towards because I'm living in the southern hemisphere, I know where everything's reversed. It's fucking stupid. So we're kind of slowly heading towards autumn. Yes, Americans, it's called autumn. The days are getting shorter, thank fuck. I really hate sunlight. Not only because I'm light sensitive, but I jokingly tell people I could well be part vampire. That would explain the hair. And the penchant for certain words and musical genres. And poets like William Blake. But anyway. No people noise, no uptight, snooty, pull up their backside Sydney people moving down here and going jogging and having a conversation at the tops of their voices while they're doing so. Fuck, I hate that. And it's a very conducive time to collect one's thoughts, especially when you're living alone. I can't tell you guys how wonderful that actually is, to live alone, where the only person you're dealing with is yourself. It's great. So those of you who have more of a lone wolf, hermetic tendency, yeah, I highly recommend it. It's absolutely fucking great, right? Yes, as you know by now, I tend to purposely mix the accents from the Scottish to a little bit of Irish to even some Geordie apparently. But anyway, that's a hard one to do. But yeah, I thought I couldn't not comment on the nonsense, the clown world nonsense that's purposely being released by Showtime. Yes, that some of you guys may have been aware of that. That new racist documentary. Documentary. What an insult. Fuck. What an insult to all the great documentary makers of the past. Fuck. Everything's gonna be white, where a bunch of black Americans are being whiny assholes. Whiny, whinging assholes. Okay. That never amuses me. And of course, these people are being purposely weaponized by pink-skinned assholes with the money, which is really ironic. So really, they're, according to their warped thinking, okay, this is not my attitude, this is them, okay? So according to their warped thinking, they're once again allowing themselves to be put into slavery by being the mindless mouthpiece of these divisive clown world deconstructionist divide and conquer gobshites. Think about that for a moment. Even in this climate change nonsense, yes, it is nonsense. These people don't give a fuck about the climate. If they did, they wouldn't be opening cheap factories in countries like China, using pretty much slave labour to create all their top-line Apple products. And they wouldn't be flying around the world in their own personal jets. So if they give a fuck about the climate, they wouldn't do that. They would be putting all their countless billions. Yes, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, I'm talking to you. Yes, Jeff Bezos, you're going to die. You're going to leave your billions behind. No amount of money in the world could reverse that. It's called life. So if these clueless mouthy gobshites would actually put their countless billions into more noble pursuits like renewable technology for energy industry and all that kind of stuff, the pollutants of the world, renewable energy, sustainable energy, and logical energy, not these big fucking wind farms where they're becoming a real threat to the avian population. A lot of the birds are being killed by these things, these ugly things. And also, let's not get started on when they replace the blades, they dig big holes in the ground and put them because there's no actual way to dispose of them. So they're contributing to the pollution of the land right there. How fucking stupid is that? But I digress. And as I've mentioned before, there is a concerted effort to divide and conquer. They want everyone divided and at each other's throats, fighting about insignificant nonsense which they create. They create these non-issues for people to fight over. How stupid is that, right? There's a consistent, concerted effort of using warped, cancerous ideologies like deconstructionist Marxism to destroy the all-important bedrock platform of humanity, namely culture and identity, and all the wonderful things that make us who we are as a species. And which is why they're releasing into mass entertainment the woke movement, because they want to destroy the power of culture, of creativity. And as I will go into at some point, the importance of archetypes and why they still matter and why they're all important for humanity, for our collective identity, and they provide the real soul of humanity. So they're purposely destroying culture and releasing and not replacing it with anything. That's the key, if you notice. They're not replacing it with anything else. They're just destroying it for the sake of destroying it, and that is malevolent chaos at its extreme, right? And of course, part of that is fixating on pronouns, which never really existed before like 2013, right? People weren't having a wank over which pronouns to use, okay? That is called a smoke screen. They don't give a fuck about people who identify as a furry or an attack helicopter. Like, fuck. Wake up. Grow up. I'm not kidding. There are people who identify as furries. And, of course, part of that involves stoking the fires of this fake American race war. Because, really, when all is said and done, when you look at the collective global culture of many different countries all over this planet, it's only the US which seems to be having a perpetual wank over this black versus white thing. Nowhere else in the world do people actually give a flying fuck. I think you'll find that in a country like Egypt, for example, the real descendants of the ancient Egyptians, namely the Coptic people, they're not worried about the American white versus black thing. They're worried about their people, their culture, and their religious identity being wiped out by the incessant attack of the Muslims. Oh no, he's saying something bad about Muslims. Yeah, don't get me started about that fucking cancerous ideology, right? Don't get me started. Let's take a little bit of this. Frankenstein's monster of composite parts of existing religious ideologies. Let's put it all together in a haphazard, misshapen way. I know, look at me using big words. Well, when you've been reading Charles Dickens and all these wonderful people since the age of 13, yeah, you'll do that too. Slap it all together and add the worst elements and aspects of human fanaticism, and let's create a new religion called Islam, right? So according to them, because I'm pagan and heathen, I should be stoned to death, right? Yeah, try it. At least my gods do not demand the male foreskin or fixate on the male genitalia. Fucking hell. Just stop and think about that for a minute. You have a deity who supposedly created the universe and all these different worlds. At a conservative estimate by scientists, there's millions upon millions of galaxies, right? So let's just say that on each, let's be extremely conservative, on each galaxy there is one planet with life on it. That's still millions of worlds. So in all these millions of inhabited worlds, you have this little backwater planet in the little corner of the Milky Way galaxy, where this deity is fixating on the genitalia of the male of the species on this planet. And only one species, not all the other sentient beings on this world. Stop and think about that for a moment. But I digress. Well, not really. It's all part of what I'm talking about. So, of course, with that divide and conquer mentality that the powers that be have brought out, and a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have heard that phrase before from other sources, clown world, because it really is. It's these people aren't serious. They're purposely releasing this chaos bullshit to keep people divided and fighting, right? Why do you think they allowed the creation of the most cringeworthy creature in the history of the world, the Karen, right? But and so with this latest cringeworthy showcase documentary, everything's going to be white, blatantly ridiculous. I mean, if you do a search on reactions to this by black people, many of them quite rightly hate it and see it as extremely cringeworthy and stupid, which it is. I mean, if we're going to talk history, let's be brutal about history with black Americans. It was your own people, the West African Muslims, that sold you into slavery to begin with. Okay? Oh, and by the way, the Irish weren't... I heard this from one of them myself, which in that instant I lost all respect for her. The Irish were slaves also. They weren't indentured servants. They were slaves, as indeed were many Europeans during the era of the Roman Empire. Spartacus began a slave revolt. Okay? Yes, Europeans were slaves too. So were many different other people throughout the history of the world. Oh no, it wasn't just black Americans' ancestors. Oh dear, what are we going to do? Right, you see how stupid that is? These people are allowing themselves to be weaponized. And indeed, so are gay people and all these other alphabet people. They're allowing themselves to be weaponized for these fucking assholes. Okay? They don't give a fuck about alphabet people. They don't give a fuck about women or disabled people or black people. They don't give a fuck. They're a group of sadistic sociopaths. They have no human empathy whatsoever. They don't care. All they care about is weaponizing you and using you for the resultant malevolent chaos for their own ends. I don't care about social justice. 12 years ago, you wouldn't even have heard of social justice, right? Now they've got fucking university degrees. What the fuck for? So you're going to get into $100,000 debt for lesbian dance theory and social justice, right? And there you are working at McDonald's. It's crazy. It really is. And so this documentary is a perfect example of the fuckery and the clown gobshitery. There we go. There's a extension of the word for you. That these people are purposely creating. It's stupid. It really is. And just like with feminism, all right, where I went into this before, where of course the logical knee-jerk reaction to that level of injustice for the modern man is, of course, MGTOW. There is no way any man with half a brain will allow himself to go through that level of injustice, purposely created injustice, known as the modern divorce courts. No way in the fucking world. All right? So, of course, the logical reaction to that would be men going their own way. And, of course, the logical reaction to all the other fuckery is people to swing the other way. There's no way anyone with half a brain will be accepting all this fuckery. Okay? That's just a fact. And so with this as well, it's absolutely fucking stupid. Yes, I keep saying, I even said it in the comments on a YouTube video. Throughout the history of the world, many different people from many different parts of the world were slaves to somebody else. That's just the history of the world. Are we going to cancel everything, and are we going to destroy are we going to cancel the Roman Empire now? Destroy all the statues all over the world, bust of Julius Caesar and all these people. Are we going to destroy those statues now? Are we going to destroy all the books on ancient Rome? Are we? Because that was an empire built on slavery. I mean, okay, some of the slaves were treated better than others because they were actually teaching the children of the aristocracy. That's where my ancestors were treated better, because we basically single-handedly gave them culture. You're welcome. And what did they do with it? They turned it around and made it into something sadistic. Typical Romans, right? All I can say is, go Germania. They never conquered you, and you are a permanent pain in their backside. Especially wonderful guys like Alaric and all those sort of German Gothic tribe leaders who went and sacked Rome. Fantastic work. Kudos. So there's a benefit to actually closing your ears and eyes to this purposely fed propaganda fuckery and actually doing your own research. There is merit in that. Oh, and by the way, some of the comments that you guys added to existing comments, they were finally approved, so I got a backlog of like 20 comments that I approved. Weird. I don't know, they probably thought, okay, his channel is growing now, let's give him his comments back, right? Fuck knows why, whatever. And it's funny, the peak of subs was 135, now then it went to 132, and now it's 133. It amuses me the result of my one MGTOW title video, because as I'll say it again, and I'll probably lose another 5 subs for this, but I don't really give a fuck. If you're expecting me to be a MGTOW rage drug dealer, you've come to the wrong channel. This is not what I do here. How many videos do you really want on female nature? Don't get me started. Fuck. And the stupid things modern women are doing. I mean, seriously, how many videos of that do you want? I'd rather talk about important male archetypes and why masculinity is being destroyed today, and the broader perspective surrounding that. But hey, that's me. And yes, to speak the truth is a very lonely path, but one I'd be willing to take again and again. The sarcastic, irreverent lone wolf on guitar, 8.